Hey, I'm Collector Queen. Great to see you again. Be honest with me for a second. Have you been looking at those new game releases lately and thought, ouch, 80 euros for just one game? Yeah, me too. And don't get me wrong, the latest tech is amazing, but my wallet definitely has a different opinion. The other day, I was looking at my shelf and I asked myself, what if we took the price of just two new PS5 titles, roughly 150 euros, and spent it in a completely different way? I'm talking about the PlayStation 4. For collectors, we are in a golden era right now. These games still look incredible, but the prices, they're at an all-time low. So, I went on a scouting mission. I've been diving into eBay, scouring Vinted, and hitting the local bargain bins with one goal in mind. How many absolute heavy hitters can I score for exactly 150 euros? And I'm not talking about filler, I'm talking about the big guns. Now, I want to be clear. This list is my personal choice. I've tried to make it as diverse as possible. We've got everything from massive open worlds and tight action games to beautiful platformers, racers, and shooters. But the best part? It's the sheer amount of playtime you get. For the price of a night out, you're looking at hundreds, if not thousands of hours of pure fun. We're talking about games that defined a generation, and you can own them physically for a fraction of their original price. Whether you missed out on these back in the day, or you just want them on your shelf before they hit those retro prices in a few years, this is the time to buy. So, grab a drink, kick back, and let's see what that 150 euros actually got us. I guarantee you, the value for money here is absolutely insane. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick things off with a game that defines bang for your buck. And I mean that quite literally. We're talking about Just Cause 3. Now look, if you're coming here for a deep, soul-searching narrative that's going to make you cry, you're in the wrong place. But if you want to tether a soldier to a pressurized gas canister and watch it launch into orbit, this is your game. I managed to snag this for 5 euros, and honestly, the sheer scale of what you get is ridiculous. You're dropped into Medici, this massive, sun-drenched Mediterranean paradise, and you're given 3 things: a wingsuit, a grappling hook, and an infinite supply of C4. Zipping across the coast, diving off cliffs and gliding over sunflower fields while everything behind you is exploding in bright orange fireballs? It's the ultimate stress reliever. It's a pure, chaotic sandbox that doesn't take itself seriously for even a second. You're getting an entire island to dismantle piece by piece. It's loud, it's beautiful, and it's a perfect example of why physical PS4 collecting is so rewarding right now. You just don't get this much fun for $5 anywhere else. Next up on our 150 euro list is a name that practically defines the PlayStation DNA, Ratchet & Clank. Now, if you're a longtime fan like me, you probably remember the duo from the PS2 days, but this 2016 reimagining is something truly special. For 5 euros, you are getting a game that still looks like a high-budget Pixar movie brought to life. It's vibrant, it's fast-paced, and it's just pure, unadulterated joy. You've got this iconic Lombax and his sarcastic little robot pal traveling across planets, and let's be honest, nobody does weapons better than Insomniac Games. Where else can you find a gun that forces your enemies to drop everything and start dancing under a disco ball? After playing something heavy or gritty, jumping into this world is a breath of fresh air. That's what I love about having this in the collection. It's polished to a mirror finish, it's hilarious, and you're getting a platinum standard action platformer that the whole family can enjoy. It's a core pillar of the PS4 library, and honestly, seeing that bright, colorful box art on your shelf, it just makes the whole collection pop. Next up, we're shifting gears into something that I like to call the hidden comedy masterpiece of the PS4, Lego City Undercover. Now, don't let the plastic bricks fool you. If you've ever wanted to play Grand Theft Auto, but, you know, without the felony charges and the gritty underworld, this is exactly that. You play as Chase McCain, an undercover cop in a massive open-world city that is just bursting with personality. I managed to pick this up for 5 euros, and the sheer amount of content in here is staggering. We're talking about a huge city to explore, hundreds of collectibles, and vehicles that range from lawnmowers to spaceships. But the real reason this earns a spot on my shelf? The writing. It is genuinely hilarious. It's packed with 80s action movie references and puns that will have you laughing out loud regardless of your age. Whether you're skydiving off a skyscraper or just smashing park benches for studs, it's the ultimate feel-good game. And you're getting 40 to 50 hours of lighthearted, open-world freedom. It adds such a great splash of color to the collection, and honestly, it's one of those games you can just jump into for 20 minutes and always come out with a smile on your face. Now we're moving into serious territory with a game that many consider a masterpiece of tactical engineering. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I managed to snag this legendary title for exactly €7. €7. To put that in perspective, that's less than a large pizza, but instead of a food coma, you're getting what is arguably the most polished stealth action experience ever made. You play as Venom Snake, and the beauty of this game is the sheer do-it-your-way freedom. Whether you want to ghost through a base at night without leaving a footprint, or airdrop a literal tank into the middle of an outpost while blasting 80s pop music from your helicopter, the game just lets you do it. The Fox engine still looks absolutely breathtaking on the PS4, running at a buttery smooth 60 frames per second. And the scale? Between the massive maps of Afghanistan and Africa and the deep mother base management system, you can easily sink over 100 hours into this and still find new ways to play. It's dense, it's cinematic, and it's a Hideo Kojima game, so you know it's going to get weird in the best way possible. For $7, this isn't just a bargain. It's an essential cornerstone of any PlayStation collection.
You can see what we left there when all hope bleeds out.
All right, guys, if we're talking cheap heavy hitters on PS4, it doesn't get much heavier than God of War. I grabbed this game for just €8. €8! And honestly, it's one of the best video games ever made. This isn't the old angry Kratos from the PS2 days. This is a grounded, emotional story about a father and his son fighting through Norse mythology. The writing is absolutely phenomenal. The moment you throw that Leviathan axe and it comes flying back, man, I still get chills. The combat feels so heavy and satisfying. What really blew me away is that the entire game is one continuous shot. No cuts, no loading screens. It's cinematic, brutal, and still looks stunning today. For €8, you're getting a 40-hour masterpiece. This isn't just a game, it's an experience. If you don't have it yet, go grab it right now. This one is collector approved.
Your knife. No. Finish what you started.
I can't.
All right, look me in the eye for a second. I found Dishonored 2 for just €5. €5! And I'm telling you, this game is insane. You play as a supernatural assassin in a beautiful, grimy Victorian steampunk world. The powers are ridiculously fun. You can blink across rooftops, stop time, possess people, or link enemies so they all die together. What I love most is how much the game respects your playstyle. You can ghost the entire game without anyone noticing you, or go full chaotic and slaughter everyone. The choice is completely yours. There's even a level where you flip between two different realities at the same time. It's mind-blowing. For €5, Dishonored 2 is an absolute steal. One of the best immersive sims ever made. If you haven't played it yet, go grab it right now. You'll thank me later. All right, I need to tell you about a game that almost everyone slept on. And honestly, it's a tragedy. I'm talking about Mad Max. I picked this up for €8, and I'm telling you right now, this might be the best bang for your buck open world in my entire collection. If you've seen Fury Road, you already know the vibe. It's just you, a high-powered V8 engine, and a massive, beautiful orange-tinted wasteland. But here's the thing, the car combat is absolutely insane. You're slamming into raiders, using a harpoon to rip doors off enemy vehicles, and boosting through sandstorms that actually feel dangerous. When you're not behind the wheel, the combat feels like that heavy, crunchy Batman Arkham style, but way more brutal. You really feel every punch. And look, for $8, the sense of progression is what hooked me. You start with a literal pile of junk, and by the end, you're driving this chrome-plated beast of a war machine. It's atmospheric, it's cinematic, and it's one of those games where you'll just stop driving sometimes just to look at the sunset over the dunes. Seriously, you're getting a 50-hour wasteland odyssey. If you like cars and you like explosions, why haven't you bought this yet?
Black, deadly, and smoky.
And that's where I come in, huh?
Now, listen! You go get me this, and you're set for ammo for life.
Okay, if you want to talk about getting the most for a few euros, I think I just won. I picked up Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, for €8. Now do the math with me for a second. That is less than €3 per game. We're talking about 3 of the biggest, most cinematic action adventures ever made, all polished up and running beautifully on the PS4. If you've never played these, you're in for such a ride. It's like being the star of your own Indiana Jones movie. You've got Nathan Drake, who is basically the most likable guy in gaming, traveling from the jungles of the Amazon to the deserts of Rub al Khali. One minute you're solving ancient puzzles in a hidden temple, and the next, you're hanging off the back of a cargo plane or escaping a collapsing building in Nepal. The set pieces in these games are they're legendary. Even years later, they still pull off that "how am I surviving this?" For €8, I got 3 massive campaigns, incredible characters, and some of the best storytelling in the business. Honestly, if you own a PlayStation and you don't have this on your shelf, we need to have a serious talk. It's a literal masterclass in adventure, and for $8, it's an absolute steal.
The hand it dealt.
Now, I need you to listen closely on this one because I found Titanfall 2 for €5. I'm telling you right now, if you haven't played this, you are missing out on what might be the most creative, most high-octane single-player campaign ever made in an FPS. You've got this incredible bond between a pilot and his Titan, BT, who is basically a giant, sarcastic, robotic best friend. And the gameplay is it's pure adrenaline. The movement is so fluid, you're wall running, double jumping, and sliding through levels that change literally every 10 minutes. There is one mission involving time travel that is so clever it'll make your jaw drop. And look, I know everyone talks about Call of Duty or Battlefield, but Titanfall 2 has a soul. It's got heart, it's got massive scale, and for $5, the production value is insane. It's one of those rare games where the controls feel like an extension of your own hands. Honestly, for €5, you're getting a 6-hour campaign that is all killer, no filler. If you like shooters and you don't have this on your shelf yet, you're doing it wrong. Just get it. Trust me, BT is waiting. Okay, I have to show you something a bit different, but trust me on this one. I found Tearaway Unfolded for just €6. Now don't let the cute papercraft look fool you. This is one of the most inventive, most charming games I have ever put in my PlayStation. It's made by Media Molecule, the geniuses behind Little Big Planet, and it's basically a love letter to your imagination. The whole world is made of paper, and I mean everything. But the coolest part? You aren't just playing a character. You are actually part of the story. The game uses the PS4 controller in ways I've never seen before. You're using the touchpad to draw things that appear in the world, and you're literally shining the controller's light into the screen to help your little messenger Iota find their way. It's pure magic. For $6, you're getting a world that feels like it's reacting to you personally. It's creative, it's vibrant, and it's a total breath of fresh air after playing a bunch of gritty shooters. If you want a game that's going to make you smile, this is it. It's a hidden gem that every collector needs to experience at least once. Seriously, don't sleep on this one. Okay, I need to show you the game that basically redefined what a PlayStation exclusive looks like. I picked up Horizon Zero Dawn for exactly €7. 7? Here you are getting a 60-hour epic that is, quite frankly, one of the most unique worlds I've ever stepped into. You play as Aloy, this incredible hunter in a world where humanity has gone back to the Stone Age, but the wilderness is ruled by massive, terrifying mechanical dinosaurs. I mean, just look at these things. You're taking down a skyscraper-sized Thunderjaw using nothing but a bow, some traps, and your own wits. The mystery of why the world ended and where these machines came from is what kept me glued to the screen. And honestly, even years later, the graphics on the PS4 are still some of the best I've ever seen. The sunsets, the snow, the way the machines spark when you hit their weak points, it's just stunning. For $7, you're getting a deep, emotional story and some of the most satisfying combat in gaming history. It's an absolute must-have for your shelf. If you haven't hunted a robot T-Rex yet, what are you even doing with your life? All right, let's talk about the one game on this list that literally everyone in the world has probably played at least once, GTA 5. I found a physical copy for €9, and honestly, even if you finished it 3 times already, having this on your shelf for less than $10 is a total no-brainer. Think about the sheer scale of what Rockstar packed into this disc. You've got Los Santos, a city that feels more alive and detailed than most real-world neighborhoods, and 3 of the most chaotic protagonists in gaming history. Whether you're pulling off a massive heist with Michael, causing absolute mayhem with Trevor, or just cruising through the Vinewood Hills as the sun goes down, the vibe of this game is still unmatched. And look, I know we all know the story, but there's something special about owning the physical PS4 version. It's the ultimate comfort game. Whenever you don't know what to play, you can just jump in, grab a fast car, and lose yourself for an hour. For €9, you're getting a piece of entertainment history that defined an entire decade. It's the highest budget playground ever made, and it's still the king of open world chaos. If your collection doesn't have a copy of GTA 5, is it even a collection? All right, let's talk about a game that I honestly think has one of the coolest settings in gaming history, The Division. I managed to grab this for a crisp €5 note, and I'm telling you, the vibe of this game is worth 10 times that. You're dropped into a post-disaster New York City right in the middle of a freezing winter. And man, the atmosphere is just, it's heavy. Walking through Times Square while the snow is falling and seeing the abandoned cars and Christmas lights, it's hauntingly beautiful. You play as an elite sleeper agent trying to take the city back, and the tactical cover shooting is so satisfying. But what really hooked me is the loot. If you like that feeling of constantly finding a better jacket, a cooler backpack, or a more powerful rifle, this is your new obsession. And for $5, you can play this entire massive campaign solo, or jump in with a friend. Even if you just spend your time exploring the side streets and soaking in the incredible level design, you're getting an insane amount of wow moments for the price of a coffee. It's gritty, it's polished, and it's the perfect game to get lost in. Seriously, for €5, it's a total steal. All right, if we're talking about my €150 haul, I have to mention the heavy hitter that literally everyone already knows about, Red Dead Redemption 2. I found a copy for €9. Now, I know you've seen the reviews, you've seen the memes, and you've probably seen the Game of the Decade awards. But let that price sink in for a second. For less than $10, you're getting what is arguably the most detailed, most living and breathing open world ever created. I'm talking about a world where the snow actually deforms under your horse's hooves, and the lighting looks like a 19th century landscape painting. You play as Arthur Morgan, and the journey he goes on is just, man, it's a slow burn masterpiece. I know some people say it's too slow, but honestly, that's the beauty of it. It's a game where you can spend 3 hours just hunting, fishing, or playing poker in a muddy saloon, and it feels completely rewarding. The sheer amount of stuff on this disc is staggering, over 100 hours of main story alone. For €9, you're not just buying a game, you're buying an entire life in the Wild West. It's the gold standard of storytelling, and if you don't have this on your shelf yet, you're literally missing out on a piece of history. Just buy it already. All right, we've done the open worlds and the shooters, but I wanted to make sure this €150 haul had something for the speed demons too. I picked up Project Cars 2 for €10. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is it just another racing game? And the answer is a hard no. This is a full-blown racing simulator that usually costs a fortune, but I got it for the price of a movie ticket. If you've ever wanted to feel what it's actually like to sit in a cockpit during a thunderstorm at Spa, this is the one. The weather system in this game is insane. Puddles actually form on the track in real time and change how your car handles. You've got everything from go-karts to Indy cars and classic Le Mans legends. But what I love about having this on the shelf is the challenge. It's not an easy arcade racer. It's a game that respects the physics of driving. For $10, you're getting over 180 cars and 140 different track layouts. Whether you're playing on a controller or you've got a full racing wheel setup, the sheer intensity of a close race in this game is unmatched. It adds that perfect layer of professional polish to the collection. If you have even a tiny bit of petrol in your veins, you need this one. Next, I need to talk to you about a game that feels like it's from the future, literally. I found Deus Ex: Mankind Divided for €5. Now, if you're into that gritty, neon-soaked cyberpunk aesthetic, you are going to lose your mind over this. You play as Adam Jensen, a security specialist who is more machine than man, dropped into a version of Prague that is just dripping with detail and tension. The reason I'm telling you to buy this for the price of a coffee is the freedom. It's not just a shooter. You can talk your way out of a confrontation, hack into a high-security vault, or use your mechanical augmentations to turn invisible and slip through the vents. I spent 2 hours just exploring one apartment building because every room tells a story. It's one of those games that actually respects your intelligence. Do you go in guns blazing with arm blades, or do you play the entire game without being seen? For $5, you're getting an incredibly dense, atmospheric game where your choices actually change how the world reacts to you. It's stylish, it's thoughtful, and it makes your PS4 shelf look a whole lot cooler. If you liked Cyberpunk 2077, you owe it to yourself to see where that DNA really hit its stride. This is a total steal.
And allow our rights to be eroded out of fear and ignorance any longer.
Alright, if you're looking for a game that is just pure, unadulterated chaos, I found Far Cry 4 for €5. For €5, you're getting an entire country called Kyrat, tucked away in the Himalayas, and it is absolutely stunning. But don't let the mountain views fool you. Everything in this game is trying to kill you. You're caught in the middle of a civil war against this flamboyant, terrifying dictator named Pagan Min, and the way you take him down is entirely up to you. My favorite part? You can literally ride an elephant into an enemy outpost, smashing through the front gates while you're tossing grenades from its back. The verticality in this game is what really sells it. 1 minute you're wingsuiting off a snowy peak, and the next you're using a grappling hook to scale a cliffside. It's got that classic Far Cry loop, liberating outposts, hunting rare animals to upgrade your gear, and just seeing what kind of madness you can trigger in the open world. For $5, the amount of freedom and high-octane action movie moments you get is just ridiculous. It's the ultimate stress relief game. If you want to blow stuff up in one of the prettiest settings on the PS4, you need this on your shelf. Alright, I've got one more for you, and it's probably the best comeback story in my entire haul. I found Fallout 76 for €4. Now I know what you're thinking. You remember the rocky launch, the bugs, the empty world, but I'm telling you, man, forget everything you heard back then. Nowadays, you are getting a massive living version of post-apocalyptic West Virginia that is now absolutely teeming with life. Bethesda has spent years fixing this game, and today, it's a blast. You've got full quest lines with actual human NPCs, deep base building, and a community that is famously one of the nicest in gaming. There is nothing quite like stepping out of Vault 76 for the first time, seeing that mutated landscape, and realizing you can go anywhere. Whether you're hunting mutated cryptids like the Mothman, launching nukes to trigger massive boss fights, or just building a cozy cabin by a radioactive river, the loop of exploring and looting is just as addictive as ever. For $4, you're getting hundreds of hours of content that you can play entirely solo or with a crew. It's a huge atmospheric RPG that has finally found its soul. At this price, it's not just a bargain, it's an essential piece of your PS4 collection. Okay, I found Prey for €6. Now, if you liked BioShock or Dishonored, you need to drop everything and play this right now. You're on a massive, luxurious space station called Talos 1, and things have gone, well, spectacularly wrong. The atmosphere is just incredible. It's like a 1960s vision of the future, but it's being hunted by these shape-shifting aliens called Typhon. The coolest part? Any object in the room, a coffee mug, a chair, a trash can, could actually be an alien waiting to jump you. It makes you paranoid in the best way possible. But the real reason I love this for $6 is the creativity. You get a glue cannon that lets you freeze enemies or literally build your own staircases up walls. You can even gain alien powers yourself, like turning into a coffee mug to sneak through a tiny gap. It's a game that constantly asks, what if? And then actually lets you try it. For €6, you're getting a deep 20-hour sci-fi mystery that will have you questioning every single object in your living room. It's brilliant, it's creepy, and it's a total steal. Don't just walk past this one, grab it. Collector Queen approved. All right, we've arrived at the one game that probably every single person watching this video has already heard of, The Last of Us Remastered. I found a physical copy for €8, and even if you've seen the HBO show or watched a playthrough on YouTube, there is something entirely different about actually holding this game in your hands and playing it for yourself. It's a classic for a reason. You're navigating a beautiful, reclaimed version of America that's been taken back by nature and overrun by the infected. But the real heart of the game isn't the monsters. It's the relationship between Joel and Ellie. The writing in this game is so sharp and so grounded that it still hits me right in the chest every time I play it. And look, for $8, the remastered version on PS4 is the absolute best way to experience it. It runs at a crisp 60 frames per second, the lighting is gorgeous, and it even includes the Left Behind DLC. It's a masterclass in tension, stealth, and survival. And it's arguably the game that proved video games can tell stories just as well as, if not better than, any Hollywood movie. If your collection doesn't have a copy of this, it is mandatory. Just get it, prepare for the ride, and grab some tissues. All right, I've got something for the Disney fans and the RPG lovers. I found Kingdom Hearts 3 for €8. Now, I know the story of this series is, well, it's a bit of a labyrinth, but you don't need a PhD in lore to appreciate how incredible this game looks and plays. For $8, you are getting a front row seat to some of the most stunning recreations of Disney worlds ever made. One minute you're sailing a ship in Pirates of the Caribbean, and the next you're fighting alongside Buzz and Woody in a toy store that looks exactly like the movies. The combat is just pure, colorful chaos. You're summoning theme park rides like pirate ships and teacups to blast through enemies, and it's a joy to watch. And play. It's one of those games that makes you feel like a kid again, but with the production value of a billion-dollar blockbuster. Whether you're a hardcore fan or just someone who wants to see Elsa sing Let It Go in a video game that looks better than the original film, the sheer magic on this disc is worth way more than €8. It's lighthearted, it's epic, and it adds that perfect splash of color to the shelf. Honestly, even if you just play it for the visuals, it's an absolute steal. Alright, I've got one for the explorers. I found Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag for €7. Now I know there are a million Assassin's Creed games out there, but this one is special. Ask any fan of the series. This is the peak. For $7, you aren't just getting a game. You're getting a ship, a crew, and the entire Caribbean Sea to do whatever you want with. You play as Edward Kenway, who is easily the coolest protagonist in the series. And the transition from running around a colonial town to jumping onto your ship, the Jackdaw, and sailing into the open ocean is just, it's seamless. 1 minute you're hunting for buried treasure on a tiny island, and the next you're taking down a massive Spanish man-o'-war in the middle of a tropical storm. But you know what the best part is? The sea shanties. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, more satisfying than hearing your crew start singing Drunken Sailor as you catch the wind and head toward the horizon. For €7, the sense of freedom in this game is absolutely unmatched. It's got heart, it's got massive naval battles, and it's the ultimate pirate fantasy. If you don't have this on your shelf, you're missing out on a legendary adventure. To wrap up this €150 challenge, I found an absolute steal for just €3, FIFA 23. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. It's just another football game. But hear me out. For €3, you are getting the end of an era. This is the very last game to carry the iconic FIFA name before the rebrand, and it is packed to the brim. You've got the full men's and women's World Cup modes, which are basically entire games on their own. But the real reason this is a must-have for a budget collection, it's the ultimate social game. Whether you're a die-hard fan or you just want something to play when your buddies are over, FIFA is the universal language of the couch. The graphics on the PS4 still look incredible. The hypermotion tech makes the players move realistically, and for $3, the value per hour is off the charts. Even if you only play it once a month for a quick match, you've made your money back in 10 minutes. It's the perfect finishing touch to round out the variety of this haul. For €3, you're not just buying a sports game, you're buying the ultimate multiplayer safety net. And with that, the collection is complete.
Using his strength to shield the ball. It should be! And a goal right off the bat! No wonder they're jumping for joy!
€150. That's 25 legendary games for the price of just 2 new releases. Whether you're starting over like I did to support a family, or just hunting for deals, this proves the PlayStation 4 magic is always within reach. My €150 are gone, but this library is officially legendary. Which one are you playing first? Let me know. Like, subscribe, and join the Collector Queen Empire. See you in the next hunt!